Welcome to the ADHD operating manual. I am Jen, your lovely host today. And today we're talking about one of my favorite aha moments that clients have when they shame themselves for I had all day to do the thing, or they said I have time to do it, but then they don't do the thing. So we're talking about the concept of time versus energy. This is skill number 11 in my coaching skill bank. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I first want to point out that yes, my microphone is balancing on top of my child's Blackpink K-pop band box. It is what it is. I ordered a little arm. It's going to be more professional, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. Okay, so let's talk about time versus energy. This is the reason why you might be like super exhausted, but you feel like you didn't do much, or you have all day long and you don't do the simple thing. Okay. So, a reminder that ADHDers spend a lot more bandwidth and energy to do the things that neurotypical folks make look easy. The things like laundry, the things like answering the email, the things doing the workout, eating the vegetable, whatever it is. So, when we are doing these things where there isn't inherent dopamine ahead of time, we have a lot more willpower to use. So that's one of the reasons why you may not have a whole ton of energy because you are using your energy to do these tasks and not weighing the cost of that. You're expecting yourself to be like a neurotypical person that has, a general energy battery. So when I think about this concept, I think about the concept of we all should be waking up with a full battery, right? And if we don't, what we start doing then is borrowing from tomorrow's battery. And that is when we continue, if we continue to do that, that's when, especially for ADHDers, burnout strikes. And we don't even realize why. We're kind of like, we downplay it because we don't fully understand the bandwidth that it takes to do the neurotypical things, the things that just make us function each day, right? Whether it's working or parenting or whatever it is. So when we are shaming ourselves for that, that is when we get into trouble and then we get into burnout. We think we should be able to, the should start coming in. So that is a sign, a canary in the coal mine, as you'll hear me say, because some of these signs and symptoms start going off, little alarm bells that you may be approaching burnout or that you haven't quite mastered the skill of time versus energy. So I want to give you a couple tools today, as you know, big into coaching, making sure you walk away with tools, not just awareness. The first thing, and we have three A's whenever we work together. So three A's. First one is awareness. You got to know why you work the way you are. That is really key for ADHD brains. When I coach women, I'm always like, I never want you to walk away and be like, well, because Coach Jen said so. Or someone's like, why are you doing that? Because Coach, no, no, no. I want you to know why. Because my brain works this way and this helps me work more efficiently and have more energy for myself at the end of the day. Because in the end, the whole thing is energy. Everything is energy. Everything I do with coaching is trying to help you shift your energy away from things that are repeatable, that are predictable, that suck up your time, and shift it towards the things you actually want to be doing with your life, whatever that is. I don't judge it. Might be starting a business, might be just sitting on your couch and guilt-free doom scrolling. It might be reading a book, it might be playing with your kids, it might be whatever. But how you are using your energy right now is most likely stealing from the things that you want to be doing, that you really want to be doing, that you aren't. So there's nothing wrong with you. We spend significantly more energy than our neurotypical peers. Every meeting where you had to mask, every decision you had to make in the moment, every transition between tasks, every distraction that you had to override, every social interaction where you were performing on, none of that shows up on your calendar. None of it gets counted as labor, but it has an absolute energetic cost. Okay, I hope that awareness piece is really clicking for you because the next thing we do is action, right? Figuring out the tools to use to help that awareness and go, well, now what, Jen? Well, now do I thank you for the information? That makes total sense to me, but now what? So the first thing is what I want you to start doing is feeling for the energy. So when you're writing your daily download or you're looking at your week ahead, you're not looking at the things on your calendar. You're looking how it kind of makes you feel. So for one week, just kind of notice, look at the day ahead. As you're writing it down the next day, as you're kind of looking ahead, just look at that day ahead and go, how does that feel for me? Don't judge yourself if there's only a couple of things on the calendar or the calendar's wide open or the calendar's packed and you don't feel how the calendar looks. If that makes sense. So for one week, just notice that. Don't fix it. Just kind of map it. Feel the pulse of each day. Does it feel light or heavy? What was the day before like? Right? Are you borrowing battery from, was battery from today already borrowed from yesterday? How can you make some of these draining days easier? And we'll kind of get into that in a second. And then what will you save for some of those lighter days where you're like, oh yeah, should have, I should have the energy, but oh, that day feels lighter. Okay, cool. I can slot in some more things there or give myself permission to have a lighter day, right? So don't look at how long things will take. Feel that energy first. The next thing that I want you to do is to match task to energy. So the transitions between tasks in general are really, really challenging for ADHDers. That's why a lot of us sit in our car before we head into a meeting or head into home, or why we get super, super, super annoyed when someone keeps interrupting us during kind of our deep focus time because it's really hard for us to get back to focus. So those demanding tasks, right? The hard, creative, draining ones, I want you to think about your high energy windows. When do you work best in the day? And try to really like put like energy things together. So what I mean by that is if you are already up and you're doing admin work, you're already balancing the budget. Well, maybe you can call and schedule some doctor's appointments. Maybe you can call to get the oil changed. Maybe you can do some paperwork filing. Thinking about, okay, I'm already doing this task. How can I put some like energy tasks to that? Maybe you have a couple out and about errands. You got to run to the post office, get groceries, you got to drop off the thing. So as you're looking at your calendar, like, okay, I'm already going to be out dropping off the kids. Now I can already be in that same energy. I can hit the grocery store, I can drop off at the post office, I can do these things. Maybe you are already cooking dinner. So you can think about, oh, can I double batch cook? Can I cook something for tomorrow? How can I prepare my food for tomorrow? What's for breakfast tomorrow? Again, we're thinking about that kind of like energy stuff and trying to boost it together. So as you look at your calendar, you'll start to just, again, notice the energy of the day, and then you'll start to pick up on like tasks and where you can start putting those in bulk. Add a client completely overdo her work schedule or overdue? No, no. I can't think of the word, perimenopause brain. Completely overhaul her work schedule where she had kind of like this type of meeting here and that type of meeting there, and then some admin work and this. So what she did is she completely like burnt down the system and then started rescheduling meetings. So she had a certain type of meetings on one day. Then she had her admin work on another day. Then she had, so she's really getting in the habit of like, hey, I'm really putting like energy things together so that I don't have to task switch. Task switching again is exhausting for us. So the next thing to kind of get out of the way, this is a little bit high of a higher skill tip, but anticipating the cost, getting ahead of it. So this a little bit reminds me of the concept of like cycle syncing, if you've heard of that. So if you haven't heard of that, cycle syncing is essentially where you think about the four phases of your menstrual cycle and you think about the energy that each of those bring pretty predictably, which may not be what the textbook says, right? So for my energy, I actually have great energy during my menstrual phase, which textbook says that I should not. So if you think about your personal energy during your phases, which again, I know as far as perimenopause folks, that can get a little bit dicey. But if you are cycling regularly, it's that cycle syncing mentality. Now, I don't fully subscribe to that. I think it is a little overcomplicating of the things that we can do. But this concept of anticipating the cost ahead of time is that similar concept to cycle syncing. So if you look ahead and you're like, oh, this is coming, this is going to be a crazier week where there's a lot going on, the energy feels like really heavy, oh my gosh, you can then build in recovery. Whenever I have clients that have big stuff, I had a client who literally got married, got her master's degree in the same week. And I was like, sister, you have some really great things and it's going to be awesome, but also prepare for the hangover, the energy hangover of borrowing energy from the next day. And it can be great stuff happening. It can be really terrible, gross stuff happening. But either way, we get better at anticipating the cost of that and building in recovery days. Permission to do that. And you may even find that in your natural rhythm. I was describing to a client the concept of, not even concept, the science of ultradian rhythms. So we've heard of circadian rhythms, right? So we're talking about energy here. Energy for women goes on a 21 to 32 day cycle if, again, you're cycling regularly, whereas energy for men is more on a 24-hour cycle. So you'll recognize the patriarchy creeps into our workday where we're expected to have that same kind of energy all day long, right? So for us women, and in general, humans in general have what are called ultradian rhythms, but they're more significant for women. And those are the natural energy dips for your day. So your circadian rhythms are based on your sleep and wake cycle, and they are also based on when you're going to be eating. So the more consistently you eat and the more consistently that you sleep and wake at the same time, that helps your circadian rhythms get on board. Ultradian rhythms are kind of like these underground, like they're more like waves, like little like waves that we go through. So you'll feel that first ultradian rhythm dip really around like 10 o'clock, like between 9:30 and 11, I would say. You just feel a natural energy dip. The second one you're going to feel is in the afternoon, that 2 to 3:30 to 4 o'clock kind of afternoon slump where most of us will reach for caffeine or the sugary thing when really our body just needs permission to kind of go into low gear for a little bit and not to push through. So I know this is ideal world shit. I know you're going to be like, Jen, I can't just say, hey guys, from 10 to 11 each day, and then from 2 to 4, I'm just going to be like chilling. Though some countries get it really right, with the whole siesta concept, which I'm totally in love with. But what you can think is strategically, hey, I'm going to put my higher energy stuff at at the beginning of the day, maybe right after lunch, right after lunch, and then, the next morning. So thinking about kind of that, thinking about you're anticipating the cost of energy as well as these natural energy cycles that you have. And just get curious, right? So I'm throwing a lot at you today, and I know that it can be tempting to want to feel like you have to put it all into place today. You do not. You can put one of these things that felt like, huh, that's kind of interesting, and take those and put it in your day. The next thing, again, is honoring the afterburn. So if you did not anticipate the cost and you're still in that kind of crazy burnout cycle again, which is where a majority of women come to me in coaching, you've been masking, performing, people pleasing, all those like high stakes social situations, they all cost energy and you've been doing it for so long. And that doesn't show up on the time log, remember. So we want to account for that invisible drain because it's real even when no one can see it. And you'll hear yourself saying the things that kind of the canary in the coal mine that comes out is the one saying, hey, I don't understand it. Like, I feel like I have so much time, but I don't have the energy. And it's because you are spending it on all these things. Number one, again, you're spending more energy battery than the neurotypical person is, and you're being held to neurotypical standards, as well as most likely male standards, the patriarchal standards of what time and energy looks like. We got a lot going against us. But a couple of those tips, the whole like trying to anticipate the cost before a high output day, build in a recovery day after. And then the second thing is thinking about that pulse of the day and scheduling like-minded energy tasks. And the last one I'm going to leave you with, and this is one of the ones that I work really in depth with women on coaching, is thinking about the things that are repeatable in your life that you can put more on autopilot. The things that you do every day, every week, the things that are predictable, frustrations with your family, with your kids at work. And how can you put those things more on autopilot so they live outside of your brain? Even if your brain is saying, oh, that's easy, like I can just do that in the morning. An example of that could be picking out your clothes the night before. So in the moment, remember, in the moment decisions are what drain our energy batteries faster than we can think. So we want to think about how can I do those things routinely out of the moment to prepare for myself to not have to make any decisions in the moment. So again, examples. For me, I for my supplements and medications, I organize those in those giant kind of like granny pill boxes. I have an AM and a PM one, and I do it 6 weeks at a time. Not one day. Oh my God. If you have more than one pill bottle that you're opening, please do not be doing that daily. Go grab a pill box. Make sure that you're doing it at least a week at a time. But no one says there's no cops out there saying that you can't do it 6 months at a time. So that might be a little bit aggressive. But for me, I do it 6 weeks at a time. That serves two things. Number one, I'm not opening up different bottles every day, wasting my energy on repeatable shit. And number two, I am able to predict ahead of time. Oh, I'm out of that medication. I have to order that. Or, oh, I'm out of that supplement. I have to order that ahead of time. So I'm not out of it, right? Big deal for ADHDers. So that's one tip that I do about repeatable things. I'm going to take my vitamins every single day. And now I can actually go ahead and have that be on a system that makes sense for me. Another thing, clothing, right? So you could do the whole Steve Jobs thing where you have like a predictable wardrobe. For me, typically it is joggers or jeans and a t-shirt. And so that, or a sweatshirt in the wintertime here in Minnesota. So that's repeatable for me. I have the same kind of underwear, all the same brand, all the same style, all the same color. I have a lot of the same kinds of socks. I just don't waste decisions on these small things because again, the cost of that for ADHDers is underestimated. And if you can make it predictable, the better it is. This is also really great for kids, right? So if you're a mom, I want you to be thinking about these for your kids. How can you make these things easier for them? How can you have their medications or their vitamins already out and portioned out? How can you have them have the same kind of sock, right? I get it. If you have teenagers, that's challenging. But thinking about some of these automated things. The next thing you can automate is your laundry. So I do laundry kind of every day. But my schedule with it is if I put it in before I go to my workout in the morning. When I get back from my workout, the wash is done. I put that in the dryer. And then while I'm showering, that thing is drying. I'm kind of starting my work day. And then I get it out of the dryer. And then I put it on the bed. And my thing with laundry, a little mini hack here, is that I don't force myself to fold the entire load. I start with one thing. I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to put it out in the bed and I'm just going to pick out socks. That's all I'm going to do. And sometimes that gets me going to more, but oftentimes during the day, I'll go back and like do like these mini kind of tasks until the big task is done. So again, I automate my laundry. I automate dishwashing every single night. I don't care if it's one spoon, or if it's an entire full dishwasher. I literally put every single night. I will run the dishwasher and then I unload it every single morning. Again, this is problematic, right? I get it. Like there's probably some like waste issues there, some other things, but this is again ADHD survival. This is what I do. You can think about your clothes, right? Getting your clothes out for the entire week. You can think about your meals. And this doesn't mean like perfectly portioned like glass containers. This can mean literally just thinking about and having some themed meal days. This is all about getting your energy back, my friend. Because again, you can think, oh, it doesn't take that long for me to do the thing. We don't care. I don't care about time. I really, truly don't. I care about energy. So think about these. You're going to really dive in here, right? What are some of the repeatable frustrations? So those are, the clothing, the meal planning, the laundry, the dishes. Those are all like repeatable things you can put on repeatable on the daily, and like big ones that people always talk about, right? And then in your own home, I just walked through this with a client this past week, talking about she has three kids, busy mom, owns a business, and is co-parenting. And so I asked her this week to have awareness around some of the frustrations. Is she always picking up socks, always picking up wet towels off the ground? Are there shoes everywhere? They're, missing jackets, things like that. I'm like, that's an opportunity. Those repeatable frustrations are an opportunity to save energy and to make a system. So she's working on that this week, where she's working on a system where, okay, they come in the door again, like energy. They come in the door, they put away their backpack, they put their shoes here, they put their jacket there. They have a little checklist of like things they need to do. At the end of the day, they need to do X, Y, and Z. There's these repeatable, predictable things that help take the burden off of you, the mom, and help put it on the child for have responsibility within a repeatable structure and system. Every day that Zeke gets home from school, she puts her shoes in a certain way, she puts her jacket in a certain way, she unloads her backpack fully, because I know that there are a million bajillion uncapped markers, probably a snack or two, and a missing permission slip in there. So every day she unpacks it completely and then repacks it. And then we go into homework time. That's our structure because, again, it's like energy stuff. I know that if she comes in the door and she sits on the couch, we're fucked. So these are some examples. Think about that, right? You can even think of the opportunity, the other prime opportunity. First one is right when people get home, whether it's you, kids, whoever. The second one is right after dinner time, after mealtime. You're up, you're doing something. Either it's putting things in the fridge, it's washing dishes, it's putting away trash, it's whatever, wiping down the table, whatever it is. That's an opportunity then to continue that and maybe have some standard cleaning things. Or what I really encourage with my clients called the 10-minute tidy, where it's, hey, after dinner time, we set a timer for 10 minutes and then we all tidy up. And you may have some structured things for your kids. Hey, and this is what your tidy looks like. Or you may have a master list of things that need to be cleaned that you all kind of help with together. So this is the whole concept of time versus energy, getting that energy back. In my You Supported program, that's the entire underlying goal, is to get you energy back through creating repeatable systems and also systems that pivot and flex. Because we know that a system will work for so long, only so long, not the rest of our lives, most likely. And so that's the other skill that we build, is recognizing how do we pivot? What other skills, what other tools can we pull in here? Are we not matching our tasks to our energy? Are we not anticipating repeatable things and putting them on autopilot? Are we not anticipating the cost and giving ourselves recovery time, right? So all of these things are different tools and skills that you can cycle through and go, huh, what's going on here? But the canary in the coal mine consistently is the I should have time, but I should be able to do it, but I'm not. I have time, but I'm not doing it. Oh my gosh, I'm always exhausted even though I have the time, or I don't have the time and I don't have the energy. All of these kind of canaries coming out, screaming at you, those are the ones that we're going to be listening to and applying these skills to. If you love this kind of stuff, if you're like, ooh, Jen, it's giving me so many ideas, but I know I'm not going to do it by myself, or maybe I'm just going to do a few things, or maybe I really just want someone to like dive in with me and to really look at like, hey, what about my life? What about my individual situation? That's really where one-on-one coaching comes in, and You Supported. So you can go to my site on the social medias. I'm all over social media, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, and it's Coach Jen T. Johnson, Johnson. Find me there, go to the link in my bio and look up You Supported, or send me a DM, ask some questions, or you can send me a little message here. So I'm super excited to continue to send out episodes for you. I hope this made a lot of sense. Again, the TLDL, too long didn't listen. If you're still here, you listened already, but the TLDL is recognize the difference between time and energy. Recognize that your energy most likely speaks the loudest. That's what you need to be paying attention to. Recognize when you are borrowing from tomorrow's battery. It makes sense that if you do that consistently, you will fail and lead to burnout. Not fail in a bad way, just fail because we're not doing systems correctly and lead to burnout. And then start feeling the energy, paying attention to energy, matching tasks to energy in your day as much as possible, anticipating the cost before a high output day, adding in some recovery time, and thinking about systemizing the repeatable. How do you look at the things in your life that you're either frustrated by consistently, that keep happening over and over, or that are just going to happen over and over, right? Like cleaning, like laundry, like dishes, like meal planning, like all that kind of stuff, movement, all the things. How can you start repeating those and making decisions out of the moment, even if you think it's easy to make in the moment? It is not. And it is just wasting your battery for the bigger things you're meant to be doing. All right, my friends, that is the episode today. I am so excited to be on the mic again. If you have any questions or comments, if you're loving it, please share on social media that you're loving it. Tag my podcast. You can find me again on social medias, Coach Jen T. Johnson, and I will see you on the next episode.